The alien princess stood at the edge of the floating citadel, her violet eyes narrowed over the horizon of glowing nebulas and drifting crystalline spires. She was dressed in flowing robes of silver spun from the threads of starlight itself. Her pale skin shimmered under the light of the twin moons, and her long dark hair danced in the stellar wind. They had told her to remain calm. The elders had warned her not to show emotion, not to let the human affect her. But she couldn't help it. His arrival had thrown the entire court into disarray. The human warrior, tall, silent, wrapped in old scars and calm fury, was not like the other aliens they had brought before her. He spoke little and bowed to no one. And when she looked into his eyes, she had felt something terrible and beautiful waken inside her. And now the truth was unraveling faster than she could comprehend. "You are bonded to him," the royal genetic priest had said in front of the whole court, his voice trembling with disbelief. Bonded, married, by ancient rites forged long before she was even born. It had all begun with a war. Years ago, her planet had fallen into chaos. The civil war between her people, Creali, and the exile Vorn had reached a climax. Too many had died, and in desperation, the Elder Seers had made a secret pact with foreign power. They had summoned a champion from Death World Terra, a human. He came without ceremony and without explanation. They said he was a weapon walking, a man bred by violence, but driven by choice. He was offered command, and he took it quietly without pride, and then he fought. Oh, stars, how he fought. They said his sword cleaved through Vorn battle mechs like paper. They said his tactics turned losing armies into victors. They said he stood alone at the burning gates of Thar and did not fall. She had never met him during the war. She had been hidden away by her people to protect the bloodline. And yet, somewhere during that time, somewhere under starlight and desperation, a rite had been performed, a joining ceremony written in ancient flame and old magic. He had been married to her by proxy under the name of the Lost Prince, a name her father had used for her future husband, a placeholder title until her destiny was fulfilled. And now, he had arrived at court wearing old armor with human markings and blood-stained gauntlets. He had bowed to no one, but his eyes had found hers, and they had burned. "You are not one of us," she had said, her voice trembling. "No," he replied, "I'm your husband." Those words had broken something inside her. Now, as she stood alone, staring into the void, she heard footsteps approach, slow, heavy, purposeful. He joined her at the balcony. In silence, the air between them was thick with unsaid things. "You could have told me earlier," she said, quietly without looking at him. "You wouldn't have believed me," he replied. "I was just a ghost in your people's records, a tool, a weapon, not a man." "Why didn't you refuse?" she asked softly. "Because I saw your face in the rite," he said, "and I couldn't walk away." Her breath caught. "You saw me, not just your image," he said, "your soul, your fire, your loneliness. You don't know me, but I want to." The words were simple, but they cut through centuries of courtly lies and political marriages. Her whole life, she had been trained for arranged unions, strategic partnerships, mating contracts with kings of allied worlds. Never love, never human. "Do you love me?" she asked, a question sharp and sudden. "I don't know yet," he said honestly, "but I want to find out." Her fingers tightened on the railing, her heart racing. "Why do you fight like that?" she asked, "like you're not afraid to die." "Because I was supposed to die a long time ago," he replied. "Everything after that has been borrowed time." She turned to face him fully now, seeing the lines on his face, the tiredness, the quiet strength away. He stood like a man who had been broken and rebuilt too many times. "What do you want from me?" she asked. "A chance." She stared at him in silence. The stars behind him made him look like something out of myth. "You don't understand," she said. "If the court accepts this bond, you'll be made prince consort of an empire that doesn't even accept humans. In its bloodlines, the nobles will revolt, the elders will burn ancient laws, the galaxy will mock us." "Let them," he said calmly. "I didn't come here to be accepted. I came because my place is next to you, whether that's on a throne or in exile." "You're serious." "Deadly. What if I don't want this? Then I'll leave and never speak of it again. But if you do want it even a little, I'll stay, and I'll fight for you the same way I fought for your people." She looked away again, the wind tugging at her robes. "Do you remember the ceremony?" she asked. "Only flashes," he said, a silver flame, a whisper, in a forgotten language, "a drop of your blood on my tongue." "That was the rite," she whispered, "the old one, the eternal bond." "I know." She closed her eyes. "And if we go through with this, then we do it together," he said. The silence stretched between them, until finally she whispered, "What's your name?" He looked at her with something close to a smile. "Jason, Princess Aelira." "Jason and Aelira," she repeated softly. It sounded like a prayer. The days that followed were filled with uproar. The court was divided. The elder seers scrambled through prophecy scrolls. The bloodline priests tried to deny the union, but the rite had been real and irreversible. Aelira walked to the palace with her chin high and Jason at her side. He did not wear court robes. He refused to kneel. He was a warrior, not a pet. And yet, somehow, he became the most whispered name in every hall. She watched him train with her royal guards, defeating them with brutal efficiency. She watched him speak to the palace children with surprising gentleness, and one night, she found him alone on the balcony gazing at the stars. "You miss your world," she said. Sometimes, he admitted. What was it like? Cold, hard, dangerous, but free. She sat beside him, and for the first time she reached for his hand. He looked at her and said, "Do you still wish I wasn't your husband?" She shook her head slowly. "No." "And do you love me yet?" She hesitated. "I think I'm starting to." He kissed her, then no grand display, just a simple press of lips that made her entire world still. And for the first time in her life, she felt seen. Then came the assassination attempt. A poison blade hidden in a diplomatic gift. Jason had seen it before it moved. He shoved her aside and took the blade to his own chest. The palace exploded and Chaos Guard swarm healer screamed. Alyra knelt beside him, her hands pressed against the wound. You're not allowed to die, she whispered furiously. It's just a scratch, he managed to say, though blood poured from his side. You idiot, you're human. This poison is designed for Creali systems, your body will adapt or break. He whispered, if I die, tell them I regret nothing. You're not dying, she growled. I won't allow it. And she did something forbidden. She placed her hands on his chest and summoned the ancient power of her bloodline. Stars and light filled the air as the old magics answered. He gasped as the poison burned away. When it was over, she collapsed into him, tears falling freely. You fool, you absolute fool. You kissed me back, he whispered. Yes, she sobbed. Good. In the days that followed his recovery, the court changed. Nobles who once sneered now watched in awe. The people began to cheer his name in the streets, and when the council finally called for a vote on the legitimacy of the bond, the decision was unanimous. The union would stand. On the day of their public bonding ceremony, Alyra wore armor of silver light, and Jason wore ceremonial robes. Reluctantly, they stood under the twin moons with hands clasped and voices steady. I choose you, she said. I fight for you, he replied. When they kissed before the entire empire, it was not just a political act, it was a declaration of unity, a challenge to an entire galaxy. Human and alien, warrior and princess, husband and wife. And as the stars watched in silent approval, Alyra whispered against his chest, I love you, Jason. He smiled. Took you long enough.